Tom, if you do anything in Sedona, take the pink Jeep tour. You won't regret it. Those were the words of advice from a good friend of mine back east who had been here to Sedona, where Mercedes and I are now standing on a beautiful, beautiful September day. Not a cloud in the sky. And he said, Tom, you gotta take the pink Jeep tour. You're not gonna regret it. You know, so Jim's a pretty wise guy. But as I was driving down the road after having that conversation, I thought, who, me in a pink Jeep? What the hell is he talking about? And then I remembered that pink was a color. Did you know that pink was a color originally designed or created for men?
I didn't know.
She didn't know that. But yes, pink was a color originally intended for men. So I don't have a problem with my masculinity going on the pink Jeep tour here in Sedona. So I got the brochure. They've been doing this for 65 years, and I'm not sure if this stat is correct, but did you know 3 million people a year come to Sedona, and 1 million take the pink Jeep tour? So we're going to do the pink Jeep tour, and they've got different tours here. They've got the Broken Arrow, which is the ultimate 4x4 experience, or the Diamondback Gulch. That's the best value. That's the one we're going to do. We're going to do the Diamondback Gulch, which is enjoy the rugged adventure of a thrilling 4x4 tour with amazing views. Have you ever done a 4x4 tour? No, it's a first. You have a lot of firsts with me, don't you? So anyway, we're going to do that, and they're going to be picking us up here. We're standing in front of the Sedona Summit Hotel, which is where we stayed for the last, well, we stayed here Thursday night, and we're going to be being picked up here just in a few minutes, and we're doing the sunset tour, so it should be a lot of fun, and we're going to bring you along. You're going to come, right?
Of course.
She's coming. Okay. So we're going to go and do the pink Jeep tour here in Sedona, Arizona, and we're going to bring you along with us. Let's go enjoy the ride.
Okay.
Okay, so as we wait for James to pick us up, he told us he'll be coming in about 2 or 3 minutes. I'll read this to you. We're going to the Diamondback Gulch. It's the best value of the pink Jeep tours. And it's a enjoy the rugged adventure of a thrilling 4x4 tour with an amazing views. Experience the timeless beauty of famous rock formations such as Capitol Butte, Chimney Rock, Lizard Head, and Dome Mesa. Explore the high desert terrain as you snake through the Sidewinder Trail. Your heart will pound as... Oh, wait a minute, what am I doing reading this? Mercedes, you read this.
Oh,
no, she doesn't have her glasses. Okay, your heart will pound as you navigate this stunning Grand Aurora, if that's how you pronounce that, and you won't believe your eyes as you climb out the other side. Become captivated by the rugged adventure of this exciting off-road tour. Be sure to bring plenty of paper towels because Mercedes might get sick all over the pink Jeep. No? She's not going to get sick.
He's coming.
Okay, so here we come. I think that they forgot to schedule us, so they're going to give us our own Jeep tour. I would be willing to bet. Here comes. Are you James?
I am indeed.
James, I'm Tom.
Hi, Tom. How we doing?
I'm all right. Okay.
Bye.
So James, thank you. So James, you're going to take us to the Diamondback Gulch, right?
I am, as soon as we find someone named Cody also.
Cody also.
Well, Cody's not.
It's not Cody. His last name's not also, right? His name's just Cody.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I tell people a lot of times my name's James, by the way, but by the way is not my last name either.
Well, James. All right, so Mercedes opted for the shotgun. Mercedes is going to get the shotgun on this ride. You excited, Mercedes? Yes? All right, fantastic. So let's, do you put on music for us, James, while we're taking the tour?
There is no music in the Jeeps. They basically keep the Jeeps running, make sure all the safety measures work, and anything like air conditioning, radios, and heaters like that are considered secondary. So once they break, they're done.
Fantastic. All right, let's have a great ride. Now, James, be honest. Have you ever had a more beautiful passenger riding shotgun?
No, I have not.
No? Oh, there you go, Mercedes.
There you go.
Very smart.
The most beautiful woman ever riding shotgun in the pink Jeep tour. There you have her, Mercedes.
And you know what?
Yeah, I just asked James what the story is behind the pink. Go ahead, James.
Alrighty. The gentleman that started the company was into real estate. He came here from Southern California. His name was Don Pratt. He was trying to develop Sedona in the late 1950s. It was just agricultural land, and he was trying to parcel it out as residential property with no utilities and no paved roads, all dirt roads. So he bought a couple of World War II surplus Jeeps, and they were green in color, and he was trying to sell property, and he was offering tours around the forest as part of an incentive to get people to go look at property with him. He was basically not getting anywhere selling property, but he had a whole bunch of people going around with him to look at the forest. So at one point in time he figured he should stop trying to peddle property and he should start charging for the tours he was doing. When he started doing that, well, it actually is interesting, he saw that his business was going nowhere and took a left turn with the same basic business structure and started making money. So he started making money. His wife and he went to Hawaii for their first vacation ever, and they stayed at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel, which is also known as the Pink Palace of the Pacific. And there they got the idea for the pink Jeeps because they have pink everything at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel, including pink Jeeps that they shuttle people around the island of Oahu in.
Fantastic.
They came back, and apparently Marion Pratt decided to impress upon her husband Don that maybe he should paint the Jeeps pink and see what happened, and it worked out for them.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
There you go. Point in time said,
you're looking at Kachina Woman Rock.
Kachina. And obviously somebody else said, well, I guess it does. So that's why I got the name Kachina Woman. It does appear like a woman looking upward, made completely out of stone. But that's doesn't have anything to do with the vortex. The entire canyon here is supposed to be a vortex, and the epicenter of it is the knoll that I'm going to back up and show you now, which a lot of times you'll find people meditating, sitting around in circles at, playing wooden flutes on top of it, or just climbing around on it. That's the knoll. That's supposed to be the epicenter of the vortex here, the spiritual center of the vortex of this canyon.
Right there to the right.
Right there to the right. The short squatty rock is actually about 30 meters high, where Kachina Woman's a lot higher than that. Now, do you feel anything special being in this canyon? Do you feel a little vibration or anything?
No, just
the vibration of the Jeep. Now do you feel anything? And if you don't feel anything, it's okay, because the same lady that said we had vortexes in Sedona in 1981, by the year 2006, she said that too many people had come here, they'd sucked all the energy out of the vortexes, so they were null and void. She moved off to Asheville, North Carolina, and guess what she found there?
Vortexes.
More vortexes.
More vortexes.
Exactly. Now, whether you believe in vortexes or not is kind of a moot point, because apparently these are no longer here, according to the lady who either invented them or discovered them. What we do know about vortexes is they're great for the local economy.
True.
I missed the definition of the vortex on the camera. It is a what?
A vortex is a center of special spiritual energy, and it is shaped like a vortex, like a whirlpool or a tornado. Some of the vortexes are male vortexes, some are female vortexes. The male vortexes shoot energy out into the cosmos. The female vortexes bring energy in. A lot of nice houses out here. This was cattle country. It is no longer cattle country. They stopped running cattle in this area in the 1970s. And so these people that own this property, they started subdividing their property to make a living. So there are a lot of different style houses out here. You have everything from modern houses to Pueblo style homes, log cabins. There's a geodesic dome back there. What all the places out there have in common is that they are completely off the grid, so they have to supply their own electricity, they have to supply their own water, they have to bring it up out of the ground, and they have to make sure, well, if you live out of town like this, you have to make sure you know how to make up a grocery list.
All right, look at this.
Okay, so I mentioned this used to be cattle country. We do have remnants of that around. The pond off to the right is actually what we here in the Southwest call a cattle tank. And if you live and work on a ranch, and I used to, you have to know how to find water. And how you find water is look for a cottonwood or a sycamore tree, like that tree over there with the bright green leaves. That tells you there's water there. That's a very thirsty species of tree, as opposed to all the desert vegetation that we have around us here, like the shrub oak trees, the cat claw acacias, the pinyon pine trees, and the junipers that we have. So all the dark green trees that you see around here are desert trees. The light green are very thirsty trees. So it is kind of semi-natural. It is drainage that is actually dammed up by the rain.
Whoa! What a great experience this is.
It is a beautiful area to cruise around. When I used to live on a ranch, I used to just saddle my horse occasionally and just go right around an area like this just because it is beautiful. A little bit rougher this way, but we cover ground a little bit faster than you will on a horse.
Do you take these tours rain or shine?
Rain or shine, snow, sleet, whatever the case may be.
Whoa!
So anyway, this is a little wash. In Arizona, we do have a stupid motorist law because, well, we need one. And Maricopa County, where Phoenix is, has been trying to pass a stupid hiker law this year, but I don't think they're going to pass that. The stupid motorist law is because it's kind of embarrassing. The state of Arizona, the majority of traffic fatalities for decades was people drowning in their cars in the desert. So it's because we have flash floods here and people do drown in their vehicles because they will enter flooded areas. So around the state of Arizona, you will see signs that say, do not enter when flooded in front of low-lying areas. That's not a suggestion, that is the law. Now you notice that since we got off the original dirt road we were on onto this one, that it's gotten a bit rougher. You may have noticed that. The Forest Service has a numbering system for their roads, and the original road we were on was Forest Road 152, and the numbers were horizontal. That means you should be able to drive on that road with just about any vehicle you have. When we turned off onto this road, this is Forest Road 152A. The numbers were vertical as opposed to horizontal. That means it's going to get a lot rougher. You're going to want to have four-wheel drive, high ground clearance, and you should know what you're doing with the vehicle. Otherwise, you can get in trouble. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know that coding system for the road, so you'll find a lot of people come out here with their rental cars, their Priuses and their Camrys and their, I've seen a Mini Cooper out here. And while they're fine vehicles other places, they don't belong out here. When I first started out here, I used to tell people with vehicles like that, I'd stop and try to offer them friendly advice. I wouldn't take that car out that road if I was you. And people said bad things to me and called me bad things. So now I just smile and wave. And if I know I'm going to be there later on in the day, I smile and wave and say, I'll see you later, because I will.
Now you do know what you're doing though, right?
Yeah, I started this morning at 8:30.
All right.
Now the Sedona people that lived here, archaeologists estimate there was anywhere between 5,500 and 8,500 of them living off the land in this valley for several hundred years. And then they built the cliff dwellings, and then somewhere around 1450, they just up and disappeared. And nobody really knows why or where they went. The best guess that we have comes from the Hopi who live north of us, northeast of the Grand Canyon. The Hopi believe, and that's part of their oral tradition, that the residents of the Verde Valley here moved north and assimilated with them. See up ahead of us up here, more bright green trees. There's water up there. Somewhere in the line of when they were ranching cattle out here, they figured out, or they heard from somebody else along the line, that instead of employing a whole bunch of guys to chase the cattle around, if you put a big fence around the water hole where the cattle are going to come to every day, put a gate on it, roundup time became a lot easier because you left the gate open as the cattle came in and you closed the gate behind it. You'd still need a couple of cowboys on hand because they'd be opening and closing the gate because the entire herd won't come in all at once. So you'd actually have to have them keeping the herd in the pen and letting more cattle in. And so that actually slowed or sped the process of the roundup up, made it a lot more cost effective, I would imagine. The fruit is edible. You have to be careful though. I've run across people when I've been out on trail that have decided to pick the fruit and try to eat it. Problem is, not only does it have thorns on it, it has little fibers sticking out that are like miniature little thorns, very difficult to see, almost impossible to pull it out of your skin. They're called glochids, and they will work their way into your skin, and they'll stay there irritating you, being quite painful for up to 2 weeks before they work their way out.
I saw deer eating those.
Animals can eat them, yeah. The javelina will eat the cactus with impunity.
Do they pull the things out, or do they just
the Cavallina just eat thorns.
Yes, I'm built it in.
Good deal. There you go.
All right, we just put it in.
That was the rough part that we just went through.
4-wheel.
Rougher than the road before. Now this gets rougher.
Uh-oh, we're on road number 9513 here outside of Sedona. And James just switched it into 4-wheel what? 4-wheel.
4-wheel low.
4-wheel low. All right, so here we go, folks. Experience this is. Mercedes just going to ride.
Okay, it's very nice. Fun.
You like this, huh?
It's very nice. It's a beautiful time of day. You can smell the juniper trees and a little bit of the pinyon. Beautiful. Exactly, tons of rock. Back in June and July, this was almost unbearable. We were actually up morning on all the Jeeps, and we look after them during the day. But as you're driving around town, you can't see if the vehicle is going to stop at a 45-degree angle. So this is our brake check. If the vehicle hadn't stopped here, we turn around and go back to town, get another Jeep, or call a mechanic, and they'd bring us another Jeep, which is what they do out here. I kind of like that. It's better than the Auto Club. They don't.
Are you carrying water on this Jeep?
Of course we are.
In the event that we got
there's a barrel of ice water on the front of the Jeep. The other Jeeps, the newer ones, have barrels that are underneath the back seat. If we call for the mechanics, if they come out and bring us another Jeep, they'd actually bring out a cooler of bottles of ice water. And they'd make sure everyone was properly hydrated before we went on our way. And they tried to figure out how to get the Jeep back to town.
James, are there any Starbucks out here?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, okay.
It is a valid question.
A valid question, absolutely.
And we actually joke about that when we pass each other. One of us will inevitably say, you know, you might as well turn around here because the Starbucks up ahead closed last week. Oh, and I so wanted them to have it.
Ask and ye shall receive. So I asked James if the windshield on this baby goes down, and he said absolutely. So
there's no screw over there in Mercedes. I've got the only one here, and
so it's going to give us a much nicer, unobstructed view as we go down. I gotta give credit where credit's due. James is really doing a fantastic job. Really, really knowledgeable about the area, and very entertaining, to say the least.
And if you and the video camera both survive, then we'll know I did a real good job.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. So here we go. Look at this view. There we go. Now we're talking. You enjoying this Mercedes?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. Oh, that's a lot nicer, isn't it?
Yeah, that was so much nicer.
Yeah, and you get the wind through here too. It's nice. I generally tend to leave the windshield up because almost all the Jeeps I drive, you'll find pits in the windows from people throwing rocks up from other tires, so I would rather get the windshield pitted than my face. And you probably wouldn't like to get rocks in your face either.
Of course.
So we'll just stay away from other Jeeps, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, oh my God's a fairly common response.
Oh my God is what Mercedes just said.
And that's why we have oh my God handles.
Oh my God.
And as I said, we also call them shoot handles, and some people do mispronounce the word shoot. I'm trying to keep that to a minimum though. There you go, that's the gulch. Now going down is a bit bumpy.
Having fun, Mercedes?
Oh, yes.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Look at Mercedes. Just chilling out in the shotgun. Whoa! Oh, my goodness.
What do you look for on the side when you're driving?
When you look off the side, it basically tells you where we're going because A lot of times the visibility of the tires is not, you don't have it there if you look straight over the hood of the vehicle. So it's what we're all trying to do when you do this kind of stuff. You see people doing four-wheel drive all over the country. If they really know what they're doing, they will be looking out the side, because once you know where this tire is, you always know out.
Got to give a big shout out to Jim Millard back in the Akron, Ohio area, who told me, Tom, you got to do the pink Jeep tour. So Jimmy, I couldn't thank you enough for a greater recommendation. Big shout out to you.
Want to know something funny about what you just said?
What's that, sir?
98% of the people we come here on the word of mouth from somebody else.
Oh yeah.
And that's why we even have pink Jeep shirts and sweatshirts that say you got to do it, because that's what we hear from all over the country. People come here and they say, you know, I live in Virginia, and a friend of mine came here and I told him I was going to the Grand Canyon. They said, if you're in Arizona, you got to go to Sedona and you got to do the pink Jeep tour.
Yeah, you know,
coming to the state of Arizona, people get told that.
I should give a big shout out to Jim. My friend Jim's got a transmission shop, 3 of them, called Waterloo Transmissions back in the Akron, Ohio area.
Beautiful.
So, anyway, so if you got a pink Jeep and a transmission problem, you got to go to Waterloo Transmissions. All right, there you go, Jimmy. There's your plug. Whoa.
So anyway, this is a beautiful area down here in the Gulf because it has more water on a regular basis than anything else around here. The thing about an area like this is formed by the monsoon storms we have, the flash floods that come through here. Now, if you're in an area like this, you can be hit by flooding from a storm that can be as far as 30 or 40 miles away. It can be on the other side of a set of hills and you won't be able to see the storm. So what you have to know if you're in a low-lying area like this is that quite basically you have to know that if you hear a freight train coming towards you, that's the water. Because a wall of water anywhere from 5 to 6 foot high can come rolling through here at about 50 miles an hour. If you're here when that happens, you go away. So, good thing to know if you're around the southwest, if you're in a low-lying area like this, is how far away the nearest set of railroad tracks are. The nearest railroad tracks to here are in Flagstaff, a good 40 miles away. So if you were to hear a freight train here, it's time to get out of Dodge.
I asked Mercedes to go to the amusement park with me one day, and she said she doesn't like these kind of rides. But she seems to be enjoying this.
Welcome to the rodeo, Mercedes.
Fantastic. All right, so we also have a couple other guests on the ride with us today, Cody and Andrew from Las Vegas. You guys enjoying this?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
It's a lot of fun.
All right, let's have some more fun.
And this is pretty pedestrian getting down. A little bumpy, don't you think? Yeah, you can drive your own car here, right?
No.
No, you don't think so? Okay.
This is great.
Oh, you want to pop up to the top?
All right, so I jumped out and went up ahead and give you a nice view as they come up this little gulch there. Look at that. All right. Hey, can I get a ride?
I guess so.
This is like Jurassic Park or something like that, you know? Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. So you know all about that. Yeah.
We know the pricing is different.
Yeah, my wife and I went to, we stayed in Harrah's because we have a dog that we travel with, but we were watching, we went to a concert at the, what was the name of that place? The Venetian.
Oh, yeah.
And we ate at the Venetian and the food was great. It was pricey, but with us, just a couple of hors d'oeuvres.
Talking restaurants as we
between the two of us and a couple of
find
drinks.
our way up through this
It
gulch.
wasn't that bad.
Whoa!
Once again, back to the road again.
All right, we reached a point where James will commonly stop and let people use the facilities or take a couple pictures, and this has been a great experience. Really a good experience. And the fact that there's just 4 of us on the tour, not including James, makes it all the much nicer. What do you think, Mercedes? Huh? 2 thumbs up, huh? All right. You're not getting Jeep sick? No, not at all.
Not at all.
All right. All right. It would appear we're nearing the end of this wonderful tour, and I can't recommend this enough if you're in the Sedona area to take one of these pink Jeep tours. And I think it probably goes without saying. How was it? Really good, huh? You can tell from the smile on her face that she's been enjoying this. James was just pointing out that there's a stop sign out here in the middle of seemingly nowhere, because it's a wide intersection and people will do like 360s
the first time I
and
saw
stuff.
that stop sign, I just stopped and stared at it. It was all bright and shiny and new. And the people on the Jeep thought I was just a nutcase. And then I explained it, well, it's brand new. It wasn't here yesterday. So I drove a taxi cab in LA on the night shift. When September 11th happened, the business fell apart. So I switched to doing construction of nuclear power stations, tearing them apart and putting them back together. And I've also worked on ranches. I've broken horses. I spent an entire year working as an outfitter, taking people from Europe on 2-week horseback camping trips around the state of Arizona. I spent 4 years living in England because my wife's British and we needed to get visas to come together. And so I'd come back to this country and do construction projects at nuclear stations. That was getting old, so we decided to move here. And at one point in time, she said, remember those pink Jeep people you saw in Sedona a couple years back? You said it looked like a good time, and I said, yep, and she said they're hiring. So here we are.
And folks, that was James' answer to you know, what other jobs he's had than driving a pink Jeep. And there you have it. So we're finding our way back to the hotel,
County by the beach,
and the sun has gone down.
and was going to have her wedding.
James is telling us a few stories of rides that he's taken people on, and
So they have a lot of houses.
we could not have asked for a nicer trip. James, we couldn't have asked for a nicer experience.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. No,
Like I
thank
said
you.
earlier, if you didn't have a good time, I ain't doing my job, because my job is to have a good time.
Well, you did your job and we had a good time.
Good deal.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mercedes, did you have a good time?
Oh yes, I have a really good time.
Oh yes. Okay, let's go and have a nice dinner, huh?
Uh-huh.